Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us for today's webinar. This webinar wraps up our cost saving series, and we're going to be discussing the Oki 811 portal reports, ticket trend awareness, and how both of these can help save your organization time and money. My name is Ashley Brown, and I'll be presenting today's webinar. Moderating today's webinar is Ms. Dina Palmer, and we're your Oki 811 Member Relations Specialist. Just a reminder that all attendees are in listen-only mode. If you have any questions throughout today's webinar, please leave them in the Q&A feature of your Teams platform interface, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. Just a reminder, today's webinar is not designed to give step-by-step instructions on how to pull reports in the portal. We do already have a recorded webinar for that, and it's found on the Oki 811 YouTube channel. Just go to the Oki 811 YouTube channel and search for Member Portal Reports, and that will give you step-by-step instructions. What we're going to talk about today is how the most frequently used reports in the portal can reveal ticket trends within your organization and how those trends present opportunities for improvement, streamlining, and cost-saving measures. And we do also have a cost-saving brochure, and it covers all of the tips that we're going to be presenting in today's webinar. It is free, it is downloadable, and it can be found at oki811.org/facility operators. In the resources section, it says cost-saving tips. Be sure to download that and share that with personnel within your organization. And we're going to be focusing to help you use the portal reports to enhance your ticket trend awareness and save your organization that time and money. We'll do so by going over some additional related topics. We're going to take a look at what ticket trend awareness is. Then we're going to dive into the portal reports. While doing so, we're going to connect those with some scenarios that you're likely to encounter as an underground facility owner or operator. And we're going to close with some cost saving tips and wrap up with a Q&A session. So let's define this term, ticket trend awareness. Um, this can be used, ticket trend awareness itself can help provide effective communication to excavators, which prevents damage and injury and can save your company time and money and help your organization stay in compliance with the law. What ticket trend awareness is a combination of being mindful of the high frequency trends that you notice in your company's notifications, which you can see by using the portal reports, and then evaluating your organization's registered mapping, evaluating your positive response, reviewing your outputs and your operational procedures, and how taking all of those steps can help you handle the ticket trends. We're going to look at some ticket trends that are discovered in the portal, and you'll notice that most of them have the same ticket trend awareness solutions can be applied to different scenarios. And I know all of that sounds like a whole lot and a really complicated thing, but we just want to remind you that all we're talking about today is how the Oki 811 portal reports, what they might be trying to tell you, and then what are the next recommended steps to take, and how taking those steps can help to save you all time and money. Okay. When we speak about positive response today, we are speaking of positive response via the Oki 811 portal. Oklahoma law does require that members respond to all locate and design survey requests through the portal. You also have the option to upload those responses from a separate response system. Your response should indicate what happened or what was done on each request. And you're going to see here later in the webinar how not providing accurate responses can cost your organization time and money. If an excavator doesn't see a response listed on their locate request by the date and time the work is supposed to begin, the excavator should be contacting Oki 811 to get a second or third notice, okay? And providing accurate positive responses, accurate on-time positive responses should help limit the number of second and third notices that your company receives. Before we go into each specific report that we're going to cover today, we do want to give you a few reminders that will help you successfully use the reports feature of the portal. First of all, the reports feature has a very large amount of data that it has to burrow through. So it's best when you're pulling up your reports and getting ready to search that you enter minimal information in the search fields. And then when your results list generates, you can filter for the information you'd like to view. Be sure that you pay attention to the date parameters that you're searching for. Most reports can only search 31 days at a time, going back 3 years. And we also want to remind you that let's say you're pulling a report and you want to save it, you can do so by using the export option that's available at the top of the results column headers. Speaking of columns, if you select the down arrow that's just on the right side of each column header, a menu is going to pop up. And then from that menu, you can select columns and you will see a sub-menu. And that sub-menu is going to allow you to select and deselect the columns that you want to see. This helps you from getting overwhelmed because the reports pull a lot of information. And if you choose just the columns of information that you want to see, you'll be able to focus on the information that you're looking for. The reports feature can time out and it can give errors due to the large amount of data that it has to pull from. If you experience an error while using the reports feature, we recommend that you try searching that same report, conducting your search up to 3 times would be a better way to say that. And we'd recommend while you're conducting the search up to 3 times that you use the exact same information in the search fields. After you try it 3 times, you may need to reduce the amount of information that you're including in the search fields. Let's say you're looking for a ticket and you're including like county and street name and house number and all of that. You may want to remove some of that information, like we mentioned on the previous slide. And lastly, you may want to reduce the date range that you're searching for. So especially if you're a high volume, your company has a high ticket volume. When you're searching for reports, instead of pulling 31 days, unfortunately, you may need to search 2 weeks at a time, depending on what it is that you're trying to do. So the portal reports can give various types of information, and there are several different reports available to choose from on the portal. We're going to look at the most frequently used reports and examine how they can help your organization utilize that ticket trend awareness. First up, we're going to take a look at My Ticket Count by Ticket Types report. Now, this report is excellent because it gives a snapshot of the type and amount of notifications that your company receives. This report can search more than 31 days at a time, but if you receive an error code with this report, you may need to remove that dispatch code, like we mentioned earlier, or reduce the date range. Now, if you, like me, are linked to more than one dispatch code in the portal, you're going to see that the ticket types and counts listed, they're going to be individually listed on separate lines for each dispatch code. Now, for the purposes of this webinar, I've removed the dispatch code column, but you'll be able to see them in the portal. And you can get various information from the My Ticket Counts by Ticket Type report, but today we're going to focus on the second and third notices. So notice, imagining in this example that what you see on the screen is just for one company. We can see that this company has been receiving second and third notices. A second or third notice is an additional notice that's sent out when one or more of the member companies have not responded to the original ticket by the work to begin date and time. Only companies who have not provided positive response via the portal or they have not provided an accurate response will receive those repeat notices. More importantly, or more impactfully, is the fact that previously second and third notices had the same ticket fee as locate request. Well, starting last year on November 1st, 2023, these repeat notices have increased costs. So now it's more important than ever to make sure that you're responding to your tickets on time so you can lower the amount of second and third notices that you receive. The cost for each second notice is $2. and the cost for each third notice is an additional $3. So for these repeat notices, you're charged for the ticket fee and then plus the additional cost for the repeat notice, and no company is exempt from those second and third notice fees. So you want to make sure that you're providing accurate, on-time, positive response to lower the chance that your company will get one of those notices. So now, speaking about ticket trend awareness, let's say you pull a report and you find that your company is receiving frequent second and third notices. We would recommend the following actions, and these are not in a particular order, but there are just different ways that you can take steps to help reduce the amount of second and third notices that your company receives. So you're going to want to review the outputs that are set up on your company's dispatch code. An output is the way that you receive, locate, and design survey requests. If that information is outdated, let's say, for example, you have your tickets going to someone who's no longer with the company, that increases the chance that you're going to get second and third notices because no one is receiving the locate request and no one is responding to it. You can view and update your dispatch information via the membership info viewer on the Okie 811 portal. Now, you also want to take a look at your mapping. So, if your company has sold underground lines, but you haven't updated your registered mapping with Okie 811, you're going to continue to receive tickets for areas where you no longer own or operate lines, which is going to likely increase the chance of you getting second and third notices if nobody is responding. You also may need to provide some education to your locators just to make sure everyone's on the same page about positive response. Be sure to remind them that every single locate and design survey request is required to have a positive response. And you'll also have the opportunity to answer any questions they may have. Maybe the locator is going out and marking the lines, but they're just not providing positive response in the portal. Or maybe the locator is not providing a response in the portal because it's not near any of your underground lines. Or maybe they're responding in the portal, but they're doing it after the start time on the locate request. So if you need some help with some positive response education, you can reach out to member services. And we also have some resources available on the Learning Hub at okie811.org. Now, another recommended action is to be sure that you are providing those on time, accurate, positive responses, as we mentioned, because if that response is not in by the start date and time, the excavator could request that second or third notice. And lastly, if you use a third party ticket management company or a locating company to upload responses on behalf of your organization into the portal, make sure that everything is set up properly with that third party company to ensure that the responses are being uploaded successfully. And if you need any assistance with that, please feel free to reach out to member services and we'd be happy to help. And you might be saying, Ashley, that was a whole lot of information, a lot of recommended actions. What do I benefit from it? Well, if you update your mapping, you're going to reduce the workload and operational costs by not receiving unnecessary notices. By reviewing your outputs, you could be reducing the additional output fees if they're going to places for email addresses that are no longer needed. By reviewing your operational procedures and educating your locators, you can start to incorporate positive response via the portal for all of your tickets, which is going to or should directly reduce your second and third notices. And by providing that accurate on-time positive response, not only are you saving in ticket fees on your annual invoice, but if you're providing accurate on-time positive response, that means that you are increasing the chance of safe excavation, which means that you are decreasing the chance that someone's going to hit your line, which costs money, or that somebody could be injured. So all of those recommended actions do have direct benefits that could save your company time and money. Now let's take a look at the My Tickets report. This report allows you to search for tickets 31 days at a time, going back 3 years. It does contain columns that have all of the information from tickets, including the excavator information and the ticket type. Remember that the information can be sorted and the columns can be removed if you don't wish to view what you see there. Additionally, the ticket numbers are live, so that means that you can double click the ticket number and see a full view of the ticket. So let's say you're looking at your My Ticket Counts report and you notice that your company has a large amount of remark tickets for areas where you know the work has already been completed. Okay, so what can you do? First thing we would say communicate with the excavator because it is possible that these tickets are being updated by somebody in the office who is just not in the field and does not know that the work has already been complete. Be sure that you document the activity, take pictures if you see that the work is complete, and then save any emails or document any phone call details. Most importantly, even if you feel that these updates are excessive, do not stop responding in the portal. Continue to provide positive response via the portal. And we would recommend that in the comment of your positive response, you document the details of the communication that you had with the excavator. Last but certainly not least, the law does make provision for you to recoup cost by charging the excavator for gas, supplies, time spent to locate, and any other charges that were incurred from those excessive updates. OKI 811 does not have a hand in that. Before more information, we do have the law on the website, which can be found at oki811.org/the law. And as a side note, unfortunately, OKI 811 is not able to determine what excessive is. We do have to process locate requests from the position of damage prevention. But again, if you find that your company is experiencing excessive updates, you now have a list of things that you can do to help mitigate that. So, what's the benefit of that? Well, if you communicate with the excavator, you could start seeing direct savings in the cost of supplies, gas, and wages. And the documentation that you put in the comment section of the portal could be helpful if legal action has to be taken. And of course, if you do get into some sort of litigation, you may be able to recoup cost from the excavator. So now we're going to take a look at today's last feature report, which is the My Response History Report. The My Response History Report searches 31 days at a time, going back 3 years. Now, it's going to list all of the positive responses that your company provided for each ticket within that time frame, along with the ticket numbers and the worksite information. The results can be sorted and the columns can be selected. So let's say you're scrolling through the pages of the My Response History report and you notice that your organization is providing a lot of clear responses, like most of your responses are clear. Now, this can be completely accurate, but we want to take a look at a few pieces of information. First of all, you want to understand that clear, a responsive clear means that you're saying that your company does not have any facilities that are in conflict with the dig site described on the ticket. Sometimes we hear members say that they're choosing the clear positive response because they want to clear or remove that locate request from their respond queue. That's not what clear means. A clear response should indicate that you don't have any lines that are in conflict with the proposed worksite. If your company is providing a high number of clear responses, please be sure that you're reviewing your mapping and update it if necessary to reflect only the areas where you own or operate lines or where you wish to be notified of excavation. Now, keep in mind that when you register your service areas with OKI 811, you're saying that you want to be notified whenever a ticket is produced in that particular area. However, you can update it as needed. If you do want to keep being notified of work taking place in the area, that's fantastic. Keep choosing the appropriate positive response. But if you don't own assets in the proposed area and you do wish to update your mapping, you can do so via the Service Area Editor, also known as the SAE, and it's the mapping system you use to review and edit your registered assets with OKI 811. Our GIS department is more than willing to help you with your registered mapping, so please be sure to reach out if you have any questions. Also, if you notice that your company is producing a lot of clear positive responses, be sure that your locators are choosing the correct positive response. As I mentioned, sometimes people don't have the same thought behind why they're choosing Clear. Sometimes we have members who receive a ticket, they'll roll a truck, and they'll mark the underground lines at the site because they do have lines there, but then they provide a positive response of Clear. And this is conflicting information, which is likely to result in a second or third notice. And just a reminder that selecting the clear action code and then providing a vague blanket statement in the comment section about how the excavator needs to contact you for lines to be marked or something like that, that does not count as a valid positive response. So we can't stress enough how accurate mapping can help your organization. It saves your company time because you're only responding to locates where you have lines or where you wish to be notified of excavation. It saves you money because you're receiving more relevant tickets and you are reducing ticket fees by limiting over notification, excuse me. And also, accurate mapping prevents your company from being under notified of work taking place near your underground lines. And this reduces the chance that your lines are going to be hit or that a excavator or a member of the public is going to be injured, which reduces the chance of your company facing fines or a lawsuit. So having accurate mapping is extremely important. Now, let's say that you're looking at your portal reports and you notice trends with excavators and you try to reach out, but you just cannot get a hold of them. We do want you to know that agents with Oki 811 do ask the excavator to confirm their information on every transaction. But if you're experiencing this issue, it would be a good idea to document what you're going through with the excavator in the comments field of the positive response. You can document the number you tried to call, the date and time, the issue you were calling about, how many times you reached out, and things like that. Providing this information is a good documentation for you in case it ever reaches litigation. And it's also available on the locate request for the excavator so they know that you've been trying to get in touch with them. So again, we'd recommend that you try all of the phone numbers and be sure to leave a voicemail. Try any emails that are listed on the locate request. Provide those contact details in the comment. The comment section is limited to 999 characters, but if you do see a ongoing trend with an excavator, please be sure to reach out to our education and outreach department, and they would be more than happy to help and provide some education to that excavator. This webinar does close the cost saving series that we've been producing for a quarter. So we want to offer a few cost saving reminders in addition to everything that you've heard today. Remember, it's important to respond to every locate request via the portal before the work is set to begin, and it's required by Oklahoma law. Be sure that the comments that you include support the response chosen because confusing comments can result in second and third notices. Also, be sure to review your locate request in the portal because if you're looking at the ticket in the portal, you can see a map that the agent drew of the proposed excavation site, which is based off of the excavator's locate instructions. So seeing that site may help prevent you from having to roll a truck out, which could save you time, money, and gas. And consider using that ticket type extend positive response field whenever applicable. In addition to being a requirement of the law, positive response has so many benefits, and using your portal reports plus positive response can help save your company time and money. One, it protects life. It is a fantastic resource for you to have documentation of what you did for locate request. You can also see in the portal reports and positive response feature any responses that are uploaded by third-party services. And this is really important because you're likely being charged by the locate request they respond to, and you'll be able to confirm that in the reports. And as we've mentioned several times throughout this webinar, providing that on-time, accurate, positive response is going to help minimize the amount of second and third notices that you receive, which will save your organization money um, for the annual invoice. In addition to those, though, keep in mind that using the portal reports and positive response can help you because it's saving in the cost of labor for sending locators out to irrelevant tickets. Positive response and the portal reports can also help save you cost in fuel, company vehicle maintenance, and perhaps even the marking supplies like flags and paint. And last but certainly not least, as we've mentioned, you know, utilizing those portal reports plus monitoring the ticket trends. Once you do that and implement the recommended actions and provide those accurate positive responses, you're going to save your company time. Now, please don't forget that the additional output fee has increased from $120 to $180 per year per output. So be sure that you're reviewing your outputs to ensure you only have the ones that you need. As we mentioned, there are additional fees for second and third notices. Be sure that you're updating your mapping so you can receive relevant locate requests. And also, provide those accurate, on time, positive responses to minimize the amount of second and third notices. Before we open the floor for questions, we want to remind you that ticket trend awareness is a vital cost saving tool. You can help save your organization so much money by mitigating those second and third notices that you receive. As a member, it is within your rights under the law to charge excavators for excessive updates and fraudulent emergencies. Be sure that you're providing that accurate and timely positive response for every single locate and design survey request. And please don't forget to check out our cost saving tips brochure. It has everything that we just talked about today, and it is available at okie811.org/facility operators. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dina to see if we had any questions.
Thank you for all that really great information, Ashley. Today we did not have any questions, though.
Alrighty, well, if you all can think of any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We do have some resources there. Visit the Okie 811 portal, take a look at those reports, update and review your mapping in the service area editor. The Learning Hub at okie811.org is always there to provide helpful information. If you can think of any questions or have suggestions for future webinar topics, reach out to our Education and Outreach Department at education@okie811.org. To register for future webinars or watch any of our recorded ones, such as the other webinars that we've done the past couple of months in this cost saving series. You can do so at okie811.org/education events. If you have any questions about your membership, be sure to reach out to member services at memberservices@okie811.org. And if you have questions about your mapping or service areas, our GIS team is here to help you, and they can be reached at gis@okie811.org. You will receive an email once this webinar is available, and it'll have a link for a brief survey. Please provide any feedback that you have. We'd greatly appreciate it. And as always, thank you so much for your time and have a great day.